Did you know that some people believe Akhenaten was Moses? In the British Museum, we have Akhenaten's parents and grandparents, whereas Moses, no one actually even knew who they were, so that ends that. Did you know back in ancient times, Marduk wanted monotheism? In other words, there were many gods and wanted everyone to just believe in him. Funny, it says the same in the Bible. Did you know that elongated skulls and head-bound skulls are biologically different? In fact, there was a baby that was still found in a mother's womb in ancient times that had the alien type elongated skull, meaning no one headbound the baby while in the mother's womb. And did you know you can find all this information out, plus so many more, on my website with all these videos, hundreds of them, if not thousands. And did you know the Anunnaki built their cities in concentric circles, just like Plato said the Atlanteans did? And you can find, again, all of this information out from my website, ourtruehistory.co.uk, or follow me on TikTok. Why do the aliens that we hear about have arms and legs just like us? Well, let's have a look at what we know about us humans. Why are humans here? The journal blah 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 says that there have been approximately 8.7 billion species on Earth, different species. Hundreds of thousands of those species with more than 4 legs. In total, the number of species of primary bipedal on Earth, walking on 2 legs, is likely to range in the thousands. So in other words, we're getting less and less down to 2 arms and 2 legs. Some group of animals have already shown propensity for bipedal, basically bears could over a very long period of time actually become just like us. Now, interestingly, in this study here, it says that because we walk upright, we're never going to have huge children. In other words, we're not going to be like the size of an elephant or a dinosaur, and that's because we walk upright. Interesting. Ragnarok has been solved. Now, if you've watched my other previous videos on the Norse mythology, you'll see that I've connected who they were in Sumerian, what the frost giant was, all with evidence. And I'm actually currently right now working on Ragnarok, and I was a bit unsure where I was going with this. It wasn't until the translations of the Poetic Edda talks about, yes, the golden gaming pieces, which was after Ragnarok, and my brain said, no, you don't look for gold or find gold and worry about playing games, because the Anunnaki, after the Great Flood, which was caused, basically was the first Ragnarok, they needed gold still to sprinkle in their atmosphere. And of course, the word that where it says gaming pieces in Norse actually also translates into life pieces, which makes so much more sense. The video is going to be out this weekend. Hope you enjoy. Has anyone watched Beyond Skinwalker Ranch? There's an episode where a woman uses a 1.6 gigahertz receiver and transmitter to broadcast, and she gets a reply at a 1.6 gigahertz frequency. So in other words, something's out there that replied when she said, "Is anyone out there?" And now that's the end of that. They didn't pursue it. Now, if it was me, I would have then said, okay, lower the 1.6 or get rid of the 1.6. I'm going to start asking you questions. If you answer yes, then make the 1.6 gigahertz frequency go up, and if it does, if it's not, then don't answer and don't make it go up. So they could have actually done a lot more instead of just doing that. So I don't know. Maybe I should be on their show helping them. Does anyone want to see a real timeline of our true history? This isn't my one, this is just one that I'm showing. Mine's going to be way better than this. Now, in fact, mine's actually going to be true. So if you watch any of my videos, you'll see that mainstream keep changing their dates. And they change their dates to the dates that I've already said. So which means my timeline is actually correct. So mine's going to be going through all of this, but far more better detail than this type of thing here. So if you're interested, let me know in the poll so I can decide whether or not to do one. Thank you. Alien hybrids. This is Linda Moulton Howe. She said on one of her videos, which I can't find now, but she did say that 30 million hybrids from the greys stroke tall whites are here on Earth, and they are here to help us. However, my argument is, if you want to help us, don't put 30 million people that's going to now contribute to global warming, that's also going to be stealing our food, our houses, etc. If you want to help us, aliens, then give us the anti-gravity technology, medical advances, etc. You do not need to put 30 million people or hybrids back on our planet. So in other words, although I believe Linda Moulton Howe, I don't believe the aliens. They're not doing that to help us. You don't stick 30 million hybrids on a planet to help us when they haven't helped us. I'm still skint, so absolutely ridiculous. So basically, do not trust the aliens. They're not here to help us, and the hybrids won't be here to help us either. Lots of my paranormal videos are on my website, just to let everyone know, outtruehistory.co.uk. You just click on videos, or you can actually search for specific things. Now, I've also now changed the button up here to Patreon, and the reason why I've done that is because some people say, how do I get to your Patreon site? So on the Patreon site, or on this page here, you can actually see that you can actually watch free videos. Just click here. But there's also over 150 long documentaries where you just have to pay a couple of pounds, I'm afraid. But let's just look at what I have wrote about the ones that you can watch for a few pounds. Stonehenge is solved. Easter Island, evidence that the statues were there before the flood. Who Yahweh was is solved. Who Lilith was. Who El and Asherah was. The Great Flood is solved. Honestly, it is. That's one of the free ones you can go watch. Norse frost giants were solved. Gods were Anunnaki from Norse. Yes, Valhalla's definitely been solved. They're all definitely with evidence. You know that. The gods in the Bible were Anunnaki. Mermaids were... Why so many races on Earth? You could argue, why so many types of dogs? Why is there many types of fish? Or even just say, why do we have types of elephants? African bush elephant, Loxodonta africana. Found in various habitats across sub-Saharan Africa, including savannas, forests, and deserts. African forest elephant, Loxodonta cyclotis. Also found in sub-Saharan Africa, primarily in forested regions of West and Central Africa. It is smaller and more elusive than the African bush elephant. Asian elephant, Elephas maximus. Found in fragmented habitats across various countries in South and Southeast Asia, including India, Sri Lanka, Thailand, Myanmar, and Sumatra. The simple answer would be their ancestor migrated, and over time they evolved in different countries. Could that be the same for us humans? Did the white people and Chinese all start from one ancestor? Mainstream will tell you this. This is mainstream version of why there are different races. However, as you watch on, you'll see simple logic destroys this. One key factor contributing to the diversity of human populations across the globe is human migration and settlement patterns over thousands of years. Different regions of the world have been inhabited by distinct human populations, leading to the development of unique physical characteristics, languages, cultures, and customs. Geographical isolation and environmental factors also played a role in shaping human populations over time. For example, populations living in colder climates may have developed adaptations to withstand cold temperatures, such as lighter skin to absorb more sunlight and produce vitamin D. Additionally, historical events such as colonization, imperialism, slavery, and forced migration have further contributed to the mixing and differentiation of human populations. What a pile of rubbish. That was mainstream's explanation of why there are different races. Why doesn't anyone challenge that? Has no one thought about this logically? Well, now you will have your answer. There is a huge problem here. Homo sapiens appeared 300,000 years ago. This means unless all the different races were created at the same time, such as Asian, white, Indian, etc., and then they all went to different lands, this doesn't seem right, because archaeologists have traced migration patterns. The oldest Homo sapien fossils found outside of Africa are from the Levant region of the Middle East, specifically from sites in modern-day Israel and neighbouring areas. One of the most significant findings is the skull and kafse hominins, which date back to around 120,000 to 90,000 years ago. This means Homo sapiens would have either all been created with different races in Africa 300,000 years ago, or there was one type, such as black people in Africa, and they migrated around 120,000 to 90,000 years ago, and they then changed features and eye shapes, etc., within that time frame as evolution. That doesn't work for me. Remember, mainstream said the races
are part of geographical isolation and environmental factors, if this is real, then we couldn't have had all the races start in South Africa, because they would all be the same, as they wouldn't have had geographical isolation and environmental factors. The only other logical way is that there were many types of hominid early humans, and when Homo sapiens did migrate, they bred with the different types of hominids in each country. Can we prove that, for example, China didn't have any Homo sapiens before the Homo sapiens migrated? One of the oldest Homo sapiens skeletons found in China is the Liujiang fossil, also known as the Liujiang skull. This fossil consists of a partial skull.
Everyone's going to love this, including religious people. So this person is saying that the Anunnaki proclaim that they are gods, therefore pretending that they're gods, even though I did say that the original words for gods and God actually comes from them. It predates the Bible, and it talks about the Anunnaki on their home planet as gods, because that's their race name. Anyway, this person is still trying to say that the gods pretended that they were gods. The problem is, there's no need to pretend. We wouldn't have known anything. We have the tablets where the Anunnaki created us. You can go look them up on the Oxford University website, or type in Enki and Nimna. We know they created us. They didn't need to pretend they're gods. We wouldn't know what a god was. See my point? This is why people are I give up. Have we gone backwards in this world? So we wouldn't have known what god. So they could have just called themselves Scooby-Doo, and we still would have worshipped them. Duh. Scary as hell, but I'll let you figure it out. And if you can't figure it out on your own, then we're all doomed. So this black goo stuff was in the sky in Australia. This black goo stuff is called, I'm not going to say the name of it, and it reacts to sound frequencies such as those produced by you know what. And how did that stuff get in the sky? You guessed it. I'm not going to name. You can figure it all out. NASA says a massive rock is heading towards Earth. It will pass us on April the 30th. Now, hang on, there's another thing that someone said, well, hang on a minute, if these asteroids in the asteroid belt was a planet originally called Tiamat that got broken up and became the asteroid belt and Earth, there's just not enough asteroids out there to make a whole planet the size that Tiamat would have been. And so when you look it up, you realise that actually it's only 3% of the moon. So yes, not enough planets, not enough rocks to make up a massive planet. Now, we don't actually know where Pluto and Venus comes from. We know Earth come from Tiamat. We know that. I'll tell you why in a sec. But if you actually look at things like the European Union, they literally say there could be tens, if not hundreds of millions more asteroids out there that we don't even know about. So in other words, this bit here where they're saying it's 3% is just made up. It's guess. That's why you should never follow mainstream. Always follow me. Now, we know that Earth was part of a planet called Tiamat because in the British Museum there's a tablet called the Enuma Elish. And that set of tablets actually, that tablet explains from the Anunnaki's point of view what happened to our solar system and how their planet came in. Bearing in mind, this is before people realised the Earth was a globe, before people even knew about the Bible, etc. So, in other words, no one should have known about our solar system and what planets were here, but yet we have tablets. In other words, the Anunnaki were real. So I have done a family tree on what planets were where and everything based off of those tablets. And I even give you the names of them so you understand the names of where they come from, etc., and what planet they actually derive from, because some of them derive from a different planet. So if you're interested in that family tree, it's on my Patreon page, and it goes through all the different planets that came and different times that they came, etc., with their different names that's given to them around the world. So yeah, go look that up.